Let us begin by finding a place of stillness, a sanctuary of comfort where the demands of the outside world cannot reach you. Allow your body to settle into a position of absolute ease, feeling the gentle pull of gravity anchoring you to this moment, safe, supported, and present. Take a deep, slow breath in, inviting a sense of calm to wash over you like a warm, gentle wave. And as you exhale, imagine the weight of the day, the week, and perhaps even the year slowly dissolving into the air around you. There is nothing you need to achieve right now. No emails to answer. No expectations to meet. Only the rhythmic rise and fall of your own breath, guiding you deeper into relaxation. We are here to explore a subtle shift in the landscape of our lives, to observe a phenomenon that often goes unnoticed until the silence becomes too profound to ignore. We speak of the workplace, that bustling ecosystem of energy, exchange, and connection, where we spend so much of our waking time. But tonight, we do not approach this topic with anxiety or urgency. Instead, we approach it with the curiosity of an observer standing on a quiet shore, watching the tides change, watching the water recede slowly, revealing the sands beneath. We are here to reflect on the signs of what has come to be known as quiet firing, not to stir worry, but to bring the light of awareness to the shadows, to understand the language of silence when words are no longer spoken. Imagine your career as a long, flowing river. For a time, the current is strong. You are carried forward with momentum, navigating the rapids, contributing to the flow, feeling the vitality of the water rushing around you. You are part of the stream, essential to its movement. But sometimes, gradually, imperceptibly, the river widens, the current slows. You may find yourself drifting toward a quiet eddy near the bank, where the water is still, almost stagnant. The main current rushes on, vibrant and loud, but you are no longer in the center of it. This is the essence of quiet firing, a gradual unmooring, a slow separation that happens not with a bang, but with a whisper. It is a strange sensation to be present and yet to feel yourself fading from view, like a photograph left in the sun, its colors softening until the edges blur into the background. Let us contemplate the first sign of this shifting season, the silence of the inbox. Think back to a time when the digital chime of a notification was a constant rhythm in your day, a heartbeat of requests, questions, and collaborations. There was a sense of being needed, a continuous loop of feedback that tethered you to the collective purpose. But now, imagine that rhythm slowing down. The chimes become infrequent. The urgency evaporates. It is as if a heavy snow has fallen outside your window, muffling the sounds of the street, dampening the noise. At first, this silence might feel like a relief, a welcome respite from the chaos. But as the days turn into weeks, the silence takes on a different quality. It becomes a vast, empty space. You send a message out into the void, and it echoes, unanswered, or met with a brief, cool reply that carries no weight, no invitation to continue the conversation. This is the withdrawal of engagement, a subtle turning away. It is not an act of hostility necessarily, but rather an act of omission. Like a plant that is no longer being watered, the relationship begins to wilt simply from a lack of nourishment. You may notice that your input, once sought after with eagerness, is now met with polite indifference. In meetings, those gatherings of minds where the future is shaped, you might find your voice drifting over the table like smoke, visible for a moment, but passing through the others without leaving a mark. Decisions are made in rooms you have not been invited to, or in email chains that quietly bypass your name. It is a feeling of being a ghost in your own house, walking through walls that used to be solid doors. Visualize a garden party in late summer. The sun is setting, casting long golden shadows across the grass. You are there, holding a glass, standing among the guests. Conversations swirl around you, laughter, plans for the autumn, strategies for the coming harvest. But as you move from group to group, you realize the circle does not open to include you. The topics shift when you approach. The eye contact is fleeting, glancing past your shoulder to someone else, someone who is still in the current. You are there, but you are also not there. This is the emotional texture of quiet firing. It is the feeling of slowly becoming invisible, of your presence being tolerated rather than celebrated. And then there are the tasks themselves. Work is, at its core, a series of challenges to be met, problems to be solved. It is the friction of these challenges that sharpens our skills and gives us a sense of purpose. But in this quiet drifting, the challenges begin to disappear. Perhaps you are assigned work that feels light, too light. Tasks that sit far below your capabilities. Repetitive motions that require no thought, no creativity, no spark. It is as if you have been handed a coloring book when you are ready to paint a masterpiece. Or, conversely, the work may vanish altogether, leaving you with long stretches of empty time, staring at a screen that reflects only your own waiting face. This removal of meaningful work is a profound signal. It is the organization's way of reclaiming its energy, pulling back the resources and opportunities it once invested in you. It feels like the tide going out, leaving you stranded on the sand while the ocean retreats to the horizon. You may ask for more. You may raise your hand. But the response is vague. We'll see, they say, or just focus on this for now. The horizon remains distant. The water does not return. Let us breathe into this realization, inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly. It can be a heavy thing to acknowledge, this feeling of exclusion. It touches upon our deepest human need to belong, to be valued, to be part of the tribe. When that connection is severed, even silently, it creates a chill in the soul. But here, in this safe space of relaxation, We can look at this chill without fear. We can observe it simply as a change in the weather. It is not a reflection of your worth as a human being. It is merely a shift in the dynamics of a specific place, a specific time. Consider the feedback loop, or the lack thereof. In a healthy season of growth, feedback is the sunlight and the rain. It tells us where to prune, where to reach, how to bloom. But in the season of quiet firing, the weather becomes neutral, gray. There is no praise, but there is also no criticism. There is simply nothing. You might complete a project and send it off, waiting for a reaction, only to be met with silence. No thank you, no well done, no here is how we can improve. It is as if the work was dropped into a deep well, falling silently into the dark. This lack of feedback creates a disorientation, a loss of north. Without the stars to guide you, how do you navigate? You are left to drift, wondering if you are moving forward or backward, or if you are moving at all. It is in this stillness that the mind begins to wander, questioning reality, wondering if perhaps you have imagined the distance. But the intuition knows. The body knows. You may notice a change in the energy of your superiors, the warmth that once existed in their tone, the casual banter about weekends or hobbies, has cooled into a sterile professionalism. Conversations are kept strictly to the necessary, brief, efficient, and devoid of the human element. The warmth has migrated elsewhere, bestowed upon others who are now the focus of attention. You watch from the periphery as mentors invest their time in new protégés, sharing the wisdom that was once shared with you. It is a natural process, perhaps, the turning of the wheel. But to be the one left behind the turning wheel evokes a specific kind of melancholy, a nostalgia for a time when you were the chosen one, the one in the light. As we rest here, letting these images float by like clouds across a vast sky, we acknowledge that these signs are rarely sudden. They accumulate like dust in a corner, layer by layer, until one day you look around and realize the room has changed. The vibrant colors have faded to sepia. The noise has softened to a hum. The urgency has dissolved into apathy. It is the slow closing of a door, the gentle drawing of the blinds. And yet, within this quiet, there is also a strange kind of peace. When the pressure is removed, when the expectations are lifted, there is space. Space to breathe. Space to observe, space to remember who you are outside of the role you play. The silence, while unsettling at first, can also be a canvas. If the external world stops telling you who to be, stops demanding your energy, you are left with your own reflection. You are left with the truth of your own existence, independent of the river's current. We will continue to explore this landscape, drifting deeper into understanding, deeper into the calm acceptance of what is. But for now, let the awareness of these signs settle gently within you, not as burdens to carry, but as leaves floating on the surface of a pond, distinct, visible, and slowly drifting by. As the leaves drift, we turn our gaze toward the water itself, noticing how the ripples settle into glass. In this middle space, between the realization of change and the finality of departure, there is a profound stillness to be found. We begin to notice the specific textures of this quiet, the subtle alterations in the atmosphere that signal a shift in the seasons of your work. Consider the phenomenon of silence where once there was sound. In the past, there may have been a constant stream of feedback, a river of words directing your course, correcting your steering, urging you faster or slower. There were meetings that felt like rapids, churning with demands and critiques. But now, observe the calm. One of the clearest signs of this quiet shifting is the cessation of that guidance. The voice of authority, which once sought to mold you, has grown hushed. It is a strange sensation at first, this absence of correction. You might wait for the critique, bracing yourself for the impact of words that never come. But when you listen closely to this silence, you may find that it is not empty, but spacious. It is the sound of the chisel being laid down. The sculpting is over. You are no longer being shaped by the hands of another. Allow yourself to feel the weight of that release. For so long, you may have carried the heavy burden of trying to be what they wanted, twisting yourself to fit a mold that was never quite your shape. Now, as the feedback fades, as the annual reviews become brief and generic, as the one-on-one conversations dissolve into cancellations and rescheduled dates that never arrive, the pressure lifts. Imagine a calendar, once a dense forest of obligations, a mosaic of colored blocks and urgent reminders. Now, visualize those blocks fading away, one by one. The meetings where your presence was once mandatory, the brainstorming sessions where your voice was requested, they are slowly disappearing from your view. At first, the ego might whisper that you are being excluded, that you are being left behind in the cold. But let us reframe this. Let us look at it through the lens of peace. The empty space on the calendar is not a void. It is a clearing in the woods. It is a meadow of time returned to you. Where you once sat in windowless rooms, absorbing the stress of collective anxiety, you now have the gift of solitude. The door to the meeting room closes, and you are on the outside. But notice, the air is fresher here. The noise is muffled behind the glass. You are like a traveler who has stepped off a crowded train to stand on a quiet platform, watching the heavy machinery rumble away into the distance without you. You are safe here, in the stillness of your own company. Drifting further, we notice the subtle redistribution of weight. This is another sign, soft as a shadow lengthening in the afternoon. The tasks that once filled your hands, the projects that kept your mind racing late into the night, are gently being lifted away. Perhaps you see an email where a responsibility you once held is passed to another. Perhaps a new initiative is launched, and your name is not on the roster. Feel the physical sensation of this. It is like carrying a heavy backpack for miles, up steep hills and over rocky terrain, and then feeling the straps loosen. Someone else has stepped forward to take the load. The weight transfers. Your shoulders drop. Your spine lengthens. There is a natural instinct to reach out, to grab the weight back, to prove your strength. But what if, just for this moment, you let it go? What if you allowed the burden to float away like a piece of driftwood caught in a different current. The river of work continues to flow, but you have drifted into an eddy, a calm pool at the river's edge. The water here moves slowly, lazily circling. You can watch the main current rushing by, see the debris and the speed of it, but you are no longer thrashing against it. You are floating. In this state of quiet firing, there is often a lack of talk about the future. The conversations about growth, about the next step, about the horizon, they cease. The ladder you were told to climb has been removed. This can feel like stagnation to the restless mind, but to the meditative spirit, it is a grounding. It is an invitation to be present. When the future is no longer being dangled before you like a carrot, you are forced to inhabit the now. You are no longer living for a title that does not exist yet. You are no longer sacrificing your peace for a promise that might be broken. You are here, simply here, like a stone resting at the bottom of a clear stream, the water rushing over you, polishing you, but not moving you. There is a dignity in this stillness. You are no longer chasing. The race has continued. The other runners are sprinting toward a finish line that keeps moving. But you have stopped running. You have stepped onto the grass to breathe. Notice the quality of your interactions during this time. The emails become shorter. The urgency in the request directed at you diminishes. You might feel like a ghost in the machine, present, visible, yet passing through walls. People smile, but they do not engage deeply. You are there, but you are also separate. There is a profound freedom in this invisibility. When you are no longer the focal point of expectation, you become the observer. You can watch the office dynamics unfold like a play on a stage. You see the stress in others, the frantic energy, the political maneuvers, and you see it all from a distance. It does not touch you. You are wrapped in a cloak of neutrality. The emotional tether is fraying. This is perhaps the most internal sign of all. The anxiety that used to grip your stomach on Sunday evenings begins to dissolve into a dull acceptance. The need to impress, to be the first one in and the last one out, fades like mist in the morning sun. You begin to reclaim your energy. Think of your energy as a golden light. For years, you may have been beaming it outward, pouring it into presentations, into arguments, into the bottomless well of the organization. Now, as the organization quietly withdraws its demand for that light, you feel it returning to you. You are gathering your light back into yourself. You are becoming brighter on the inside, warmer, more whole. The quiet firing is not just a rejection from the outside, it is a retrieval from the inside. It is the universe conspiring to give you back to yourself. Let us linger on the image of the twilight, the time of day when the sun dips below the horizon and the world loses its sharp edges. The colors soften to indigo and violet. This phase of work, where the signs accumulate, is your twilight. The blazing sun of ambition has set. The heat of the day has broken. It is cooling down. The shadows are long and soft. There is no need to squint against the glare anymore. In this twilight, you can rest. You can move slower. You can prepare for the night, which is not an end, but a time for dreaming, a time for the subconscious to speak. As the responsibilities recede, you might find your mind wandering to places it hasn't visited in years. Old hobbies, forgotten passions, simple joys like the way the light hits the kitchen table, or the sound of rain on the roof. The mental bandwidth that was once clogged with spreadsheets and deadlines is opening up. This is the gift hidden within the rejection. The quiet in quietfiring is not just a lack of noise. It is the presence of potential. It is the fertile soil left behind after the harvest. The field lies fallow, resting, waiting for new seeds that have nothing to do with the crops of the past. So, as you recognize these signs, the silence of the boss, the emptiness of the calendar, the lightness of the load, do not meet them with fear. Meet them with a deep, slow exhale. Acknowledge them as guests who have arrived to help you pack your bags. Not physically, perhaps not yet, but spiritually. They are helping you detach. They are loosening the knots that bound you to a dock that no longer serves your vessel. You are gently drifting away from the pier. The gap is widening, inch by inch, and the water between you and the shore is calm. There is no storm here, only the gentle lapping of the waves against the hull and the vast, open sky above. We float here for a moment, suspended in this state of grace, where the old world is fading and the new one has not yet appeared. We are simply drifting, safe in the knowledge that the current knows where to go. And in this drift, you realize the silence is not empty. It is spacious. The water that carries you is cool and deep, holding the weight you no longer need to carry on your own shoulders. As the shore of your workplace fades into the soft mist of distance, you might notice something remarkable happening within your own chest. The tightness, that subtle, constant contraction of waiting for an email, of waiting for validation, of waiting to be noticed, begins to unwind. It unravels like a spool of thread, falling gently to the floor, leaving you lighter. Consider the silence you have been experiencing, the meetings that fell off the calendar, the feedback that never came, the projects that were steered elsewhere. In the frantic energy of the day, these things felt like losses. But here, in the quiet sanctity of this moment, we can reframe them. We can hold them up to the light and see them for what they truly are. They are gifts of time, returned to their rightful owner. Every empty hour on your schedule is a reclaimed territory. It is a plot of land in the garden of your life that has been returned to the wild. You do not need to build on it immediately. You do not need to rush to fill it with new noise or new anxiety. You can simply let it be a meadow, open to the sun, open to the wind, resting. It is a strange and beautiful paradox that when the world outside quiets down, we are finally able to hear the voice that matters most, the voice that speaks without words, the voice of your own being, simply existing. When you are being quietly released from a role, You are simultaneously being invited back to yourself. Think of the energy you spent trying to decipher the silence, trying to read the tea leaves of corporate shifting. Imagine that energy now, gathering up from the floor, flowing back into your body. It returns to you as warmth in your hands. It returns to you as a steady rhythm in your heartbeat. It is no longer leaking out into a void that cannot hold it. It is yours again. You are becoming a closed circuit of peace, self-sustaining, and whole. Allow your mind to wander away from the office walls, away from the glowing screens, and out into the natural world. Nature knows nothing of promotions or exclusions. The oak tree does not worry if the pine grows taller. The river does not panic when the rain stops falling for a season. It simply narrows, slows, and waits, trusting the cycle. You are part of this natural rhythm. This phase of your career, this quiet closing of a door, is as natural as the leaves turning gold and drifting to the earth. The tree does not weep when it lets go of the leaf. It knows that to hold on when the season has turned would be an exhaustion. Letting go is an act of preservation. It is an act of wisdom. The tree draws its sap inward, down into the roots, deep underground where the frost cannot reach. This is what you are doing now. You are drawing your energy away from the branches that no longer bear fruit, and you are sinking it deep into your roots, into your home, into your rest, into the parts of you that exist purely for the joy of existing. Feel the comfort of this withdrawal. It is not a retreat in defeat, but a retreat into sanctuary. You are wrapping a warm blanket around your soul. The silence of your colleagues is simply the hush of the library, allowing you to focus on your own story. The lack of direction from above is simply the clearing of the sky, allowing you to see your own stars. Let us breathe into this space. A long, slow inhalation, gathering up the last remnants of confusion, and a soft, sustaining exhalation, blowing them away like dandelion seeds on a gentle breeze. They float away, smaller and smaller, until they disappear entirely. You are safe here. Your worth was never tied to the volume of your inbox. Your value was never determined by the density of your calendar. Those were merely garments you wore. And now, you are loosening the tie, unbuttoning the collar, slipping off the heavy coat of expectation. You hang it by the door. You step away from it. You are lighter. You are just you. And that is infinite. As you drift further, the water becomes smoother, glassy, reflecting the twilight sky. The colors are soft indigos and violets, soothing to the eyes, soothing to the spirit. The concept of work feels very far away now. It is a distant island, a small speck on the horizon that no longer commands your attention. You are facing the open sea of your dreams, of your rest, of your potential. But even the potential does not need to be addressed tonight. Tonight is only for the drifting. Tonight is only for the peace of the in-between. There is a profound freedom in the in-between. You are no longer who you were in that role, and you are not yet who you will be in the next. You are pure potentiality, resting in the void. It is a velvet void, soft and embracing. Sometimes, the universe quiets the noise around us so that we may finally sleep. So let the quiet firing be a lullaby. Let the lack of demands be a permission slip, permission to rest, permission to disconnect, permission to stop striving and simply start being. The knot has been untied. The rope has fallen into the water. You are free. Feel your body sinking deeper into the surface beneath you. The bed, the chair, the floor, whatever holds you, let it take the full weight of your trust. There is no need to hold yourself up anymore. The day is done. The era is shifting, and you are safe in the transition. Your eyelids feel heavy, pleasantly heavy, like heavy velvet curtains closing on a stage. The play is over for now. The lights are dimming. The audience has gone home. There is only the quiet, dark, peaceful theater of your mind. Silence is not a punishment. Silence is a blanket. Pull it up to your chin. Tuck it in around your shoulders. Feel its warmth. In this silence, there is no rejection. There is only space. Space to dream. Space to heal. Space to remember who you were before you started running, and who you will be when you wake up refreshed. The signs you saw, the subtle shifts, the quiet withdrawal of the world. Acknowledge them one last time with gratitude. Thank them for showing you the exit. Thank them for opening the gate. Because beyond that gate lies a garden of your own making. But for now, the garden sleeps. The seeds sleep. The soil sleeps. And you drift on this calm, dark water under the vast, star-filled sky. Everything is exactly as it should be. The current is gentle. The night is kind. You are released. You are at peace. You are whole. Drifting deeper into the quiet. Drifting deeper into the calm. Resting in the beautiful, healing silence.